What's going on, guys? We're gonna start in just a second. Getting a little bit of a late start today. Had kind of a crazy day, but it's all good. Still going to keep pumping these out daily, or I'm going to try really hard to do so. Alright, so we're going to get started in just a second. I'm going to mess with and test a audio thing real quick, and then we'll get going. Alright, they're going to get this party started. I hope y'all are ready. Hold on to your seats. It's time to start the No Noise Research cast with your host, Rex. I hope y'all been having an awesome Monday. Do realize it's late Monday night, actually, super early on Sunday. Like I said, had a little bit of a wilder day, but it happens. Sometimes life throws crazy things at you. It's not a bad thing, though. It's a cliche saying, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? So they say. I think it's true. All right. Let's go ahead and change this so we can see my screen. There you go. There's a screen. You know what to do. Sub it. Smash the likes. Smash the bell. Ding the bell. Whatever you want to call it. However you want to say it. Click them. Do 3 clicks. It's easy. It's fast. All right. As always, there's something to cover in the cryptocurrency space. Let's go ahead and jump into it. This first one is breaking news, by the way. Like super extra breaking. Coinbase resumes Bitcoin buying and selling in Wyoming, everyone. Wyoming. Not to hate on Wyoming at all, but isn't it... How many people live there? Like 500,000 or something in like the whole state? It's crazy. It's pretty silly. I don't know. It's like a big deal, I guess. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. It's definitely not breaking news at all. But Wyoming's got it back. Woo! It's like one of the smallest population states in the U.S. Awesome. But kind of just funny there. Let's get on to some more real news. Things that matter. This might matter a little bit more. An Amazon cloud exec named Tim Wagner has joined Coinbase. So he was a general manager of several Amazon Web Service businesses before getting into Coinbase. I got a couple of them highlighted down here on this bottom part. This is where what they're trying to do here is we're creating the infrastructure that will allow us to add more assets to our platform and accelerate the adoption of crypto around the world. Coinbase is pretty ambitious. There's a lot of money involved in this, and there's going to be more pouring into it over time. Reducing fees for money transmission is a huge market. Like I've talked about before, Amazon alone spends about $250 billion. That's right, $250 billion annually on just interchange banking fees, which is just moving money pretty much around between their different accounts. Pretty wild. He worked at GM, I guess a little branch. I'm sorry, he served as a GM for AWS Lambda, an Amazon API gateway, and an AWS serverless app repository. And he also spent several years at Microsoft, so this dude's in there, he knows what's up. And he went to Princeton. Ooh, yay. Everything's awesome, right? No, but that's pretty cool. So they're continuing to tap important people. And apparently they pulled him from Amazon too, so I'm wondering if that's going to keep happening. As soon as one of the larger businesses, though, like Amazon, is like, oh no, we're fully seriously integrating crypto, and they do it in like a more traditional fashion, then yeah, that might open up the door and people will stop leaving. They might almost be forced to do that by the market's hand later. All right, let's go to tZero. If you want to get in, it's Overstock's IPO or ICO, or I'm sorry, an STO, a security token offering. Funny, they just rename it and it's hilarious. Anyway, I didn't participate in this. I just saw it and thought, hey, a lot of people, I do like Overstock, and I think his name is Patrick Bryan, I believe. He's been a proponent of cryptocurrency for a long time. They were one of the first big companies to take it. And we talked about the other day how their sales are increasing pretty quickly, quarter over quarter, of cryptocurrency buying, and that it was furniture and laptops, I believe, were the largest purchased items. So anyway, 5 p.m. August 8th, and that's EDT time-wise. So for us in Central Time, that'll be tomorrow afternoon. All right, LedgerX claims a record in July for Bitcoin options trading. This is great news. I've been wanting to see more volume come to this sector for a while. I know LedgerX isn't the friendliest with retail at all, but I have been noticing volume and spreads on Deribit have actually been tightening a little bit as well too. So it's a good sign, I would say. So there is volume in July alone. And earlier this month, the firm also executed its largest trade to date for a December 15,000 strike call. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Some people say that open interest and volume and stuff on options matters. I think it does matter to a new Bitcoin purchasing system last month called One-Click Bitcoin. The service acts as a one-stop shop for institutional or high net worth clients to buy Bitcoin easily through a federally regulated platform. See guys, there's more people jumping in this out of a lot of customer demand that we've seen. And this is going to happen across the entire sector, ladies and gentlemen. The demand products, but they already have Bitcoin products, so does that mean that they're cleared with Bitcoin in a regulatory environment, even though that's kind of cloudy at the moment? I don't know, it's kind of food for thought there. But they will, I agree. Chow is confident that the company will receive this approval as all of its products are fully collateralized, maybe. Isn't quotes, maybe just said it that way. But anyway, there you go, LedgerX record volume, and it was on the December 15,000 strike. Dude, it's moon time. Long everything. No, I'm just kidding though, don't do that. Don't really do anything that I say, actually. It's probably better. Alright. China, a trader sues OKcoin, and it's probably not what you think it's for. You're like, oh, duh, Z-Rex, it's for that crazy dude that did the thing with the large trade, and they let him get it really big, and then they just clawed back people that won money. It's cool, or won money, or earned it, however you want to say that. No, it's actually not. It's for Bitcoin Cash. So, yeah, it's like, what? That's kind of late, right? Yeah, I thought the same thing. In August 2017, so late, you know, that is like, it's like 23 years, I think. Yeah, in like the crypto world, it seems that way. But yeah, so they're blocking from receiving 38 BCH that he was due. Of course, OKEx is like, well, you know, he's been inconsistent with what happened in his case, so they're kind of just like, whatever. I don't really care about the specifics. I just think it's kind of funny that they're bringing this up. Like, a lot of people this happened to. That's just part of this game, man. Like, it really is. If you don't want to play in this pond, it's a little dirty, but that's why the rewards are very high. Now, we'll get cleaned up, and it's getting filtered slowly. Alright? We just gotta wait a little bit longer, not much longer. I do believe that that filter will work very well and be almost done cleaning most of it in the next 5 years pretty easily. Probably more like 3, but, you know, what do I know? But yeah, so this guy, the Feng Bin, his pseudonym, yeah, well, Feng Bin, sure, buddy. Kind of silly, whatever. We've all gotten burned by this, guys, okay? There's been a lot of exchanges that don't give the money. It's just part of the game. Don't cry over it. Move it to a wallet or a way that you know that you're going to get the money. There's ways to do that and assure that. So, blame it on yourself. That's the beauty also about crypto. Alright, let's go to a story we talked about a little while ago, a few days ago, maybe a week ago. So there is confirmation on Bitmain coming to Texas in that old coal mining town of Millam County, Texas. So they're coming down over there. It's awesome. So they're going to commence operations in early 2019. And most of the construction should be done by the fourth quarter of this year. Somewhere else I read in a different article. But yeah, so early 2019 is probably pretty good, and will be fully operational in the next 2 years. I would imagine they're not going to get too much pushback from that small county. They want the business. They were out of about 400 jobs from the plant that used to be there. So they're probably almost begging them to hurry up and build it faster. So I can't imagine that they're going to make regulatory hurdles or large financial barriers to that. So Bitmain has also promised to partner with schools and educational institutions in the county to equip local students and residents with the technical and professional skills for this data center. Awesome. That's great. I know Bitmain is controversial in the space, but guys, in a harsh reality and truth, how it is harsh and reality. You know, if they weren't around, where would Bitcoin be? If they weren't pumping all these miners and stuff, I don't know. Maybe someone else would be doing it. Maybe, I don't know. I don't really want to go down that rabbit hole, but it is interesting. So it's a key component too. Apparently, the statement from Bitmain is saying for their expansion plans within the North Americas, and not just expansion, their strategic investment plans as well. Yeah, that's not a huge shocker. They were going to come here eventually. I think Texas is probably a good pick, not just because I'm here, but the energy is cheaper, and we are on our own power grid here as well too. So there is a little bit of energy independence, and you could also throw oil onto that as well, being by the Gulf and being oil country, right? Call it Earl. Anyway, so there are large energy benefits, I believe, in the long run. Something that is kind of crazy, Bitmain was founded in 2013, and it has grown in as the premier maker of Bitcoin mining equipment. Yeah, that's what they say in here in this article. They probably are, as we just talked about. I just wanted to say it like that. Controlling an estimated 70% of the market. Wowza. Talk about that 51% thing. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm not worried about that. I also think it's kind of beyond that. The amount of money that it would cost to possibly maybe get money in a 10-minute window and then have it not forked off of what you stole. It's just not worth it. It's easier just to fish people, right? I mean, the Nigerian email scam is probably still going around, I would bet. Maybe it's just not Nigerian princes anymore. It might, be cryptocurrency princes. I don't know. All right. So that's confirmed. Awesome news. Whoop. Let's go. Robinhood adds Ethereum Classic to the crypto trading app. So ETC, that Ethereum Classic, is getting that love. It's going on Coinbase tomorrow. We are about to pull it up and look at it on the charts after this article when we start getting into markets. So hold your horses there. We're going to look at it. It does look like it's coming up on some resistance. But yeah, so they're adding it. Coinbase is adding it. It's pretty awesome. Way to go, ETC. We have been talking about ETC as a good-looking coin. It has been relatively strong as hell, which I think was a little bit surprising to everyone, even prior to the Coinbase news. Or I should say the recent Coinbase news. All right, so speaking of that, let's go look at the Ethereum Classic, and we'll check it out on the dollar pair first, and then we'll go to the Bitcoin. Yep, here you go. Here's a daily. We'll just do price action. It did sell off pretty hard. It got up here. Let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit since we know tomorrow is coming soon. Yeah, this is playing out as, of course, as kind of a sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. This almost is it couldn't really get more textbook than this. And look at this big old candle engulfing down. It does have 26 more minutes on a 4-hour though, so we'll see what happens. This could easily pop up here, but this is looking pretty bearish. Of course, none of these shows are financial advice, but I did have a Ethereum Classic position in my paper account, but I do not anymore. It was stripped earlier. Gone. I don't know what happened to it. Close it out. The paper's gone. The paper gains were not realized because they're just paper. So, but yeah, and this is playing out, guys. That's a big thing in trading. You'll learn that if you trade more. It's an old saying, and you know, a lot of those old sayings need to be kind of taken with salt or reanalyzed, or kind of add a word or two or something, like just looked at in a different microscope. But this one, the buy the rumor, sell the news, has been pretty damn tried and true. And I think that just is more closely tied to just human psychology and just how that kind of works. Like, oh, we get all hyped up right before it happens. Like, think of a fork or an airdrop or something like that, right? They always pump right before, and it's usually within the, you know, 2 to maybe 1, but usually like 2 to 7 days before the drop happens. It either starts going flat or even starts selling off fast. So always do remember that. That is a Trader 101 hacker tip there. All right, so ETC is definitely looking like some people are taking profits. Yes, a lot of profits. Here you go. Again, we do have another 24 minutes. Let's look at the daily. We're on a fresh daily, so we'll see. You know, tomorrow is the final day, but hey, sometimes when things move a good way for you, it's not a bad idea. Because if we zoom out, let's look at this. We've got some pretty decent resistance here on this top part, and this was right, what is this, was 2800, looks like. So yeah, I'm sorry, not 2800. I only can see 4, but 0.0028 on Ethereum Classic, the high there on the Bitcoin pair. So yeah, to me that's like, in this market, we're not in a bull market either, so you need to be a little bit more nimble with your management, in my opinion, of course. Let's go to the main market and check out this chart, which I always like. Again, we're still struggling. We are finding a little bottom here, though, around this 250-ish billion area market cap wise. We did have an increased volume on this little trip to 3, but we need to see some more volume come in, and hopefully it will be not sellers exiting in this context, since we are looking at the market cap. We would like, I hope that we can hold this 6,800-ish level. That's kind of, for a bull's case, that's kind of what you want to see. So while we're talking about that, let's just go ahead and pull it up. Not on Bitstamp though, I like it on Bitfinex. Alright, so there's that for you. That is a daily. There's some hardcore resistance printing here at about 7,300. I would kind of almost say, if you look at the chart, kind of, yeah, of course, this was a big price agreement area for after this move. Price agreed on it, it rallied, and now price is like, well, I'm not sure if we're okay above 7,200. And we talked about that too in the videos. As soon as if we break 72-ish or below this consolidation, it's not going to look good. We are down here at the bottom of this channel, which was kind of a best case scenario, right, for momentum, because you don't want to just go up and up and up. Like, you don't want, you know, everybody's like, oh, it's going to 20K, dude, next month now. Well, probably not, right? And everyone thought this was just going to happen. And it could have. It has done that. But, you know, realize that's a huge move. And those aren't realistic, even in Bitcoin. They're not going to happen that much. There still is a range that it's going to move. And so, generally speaking, of course, right, in the bell curve, your probabilities there. So, it's better instead of doing this, because then what happens is we get too frothy and then we start doing this up here and then we fall really hard down to this base, or maybe here if we're lucky, something like that, right? So it's actually better that we go ahead and get this out of the way and build nice structure. And an example of that is I will pull, oh, gotta switch tools. I will pull back over here and look at this run up that we had in the late last year. Okay, so here's the tops, right? 20-ish K, whatever kind of exchange you look at. And as you can see, let's take off that last doubling up, because when it consolidated up here around November, around Turkey Day, it just exploded and went from like 8,000 to 20, and it did that literally in a couple of weeks, right? All right, so I'm going to take that part out. Now look at this action right here. This whole time I have on this chart, okay? I'm just going to loosely kind of draw this just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So, I'll make that channel brighter. There you go. So, you can see over this whole time, it was steadily going up kind of and down and being in this channel, and it was okay. That's nice. That's very constructive. But then you get over here, this area. Let me drag this out just a little bit, right? Okay, there you go. You get over here and it just busts through it and just more than doubles in a couple of weeks, even though all this time frame back here was, you know, and that even, you could even stretch this out past all of this because it banged on there a bunch of times, came, tested the bottom. You got like 4 touches on there now. So, and that's all the way back to the beginning of last year. Okay. That was a nice, solid trajectory. And you can say the same thing out to the downside too. If it got too extended, it would talk about those or worry about them, because frankly, that's something you can't control, and you can't think about the worst case scenario. You have to be able to manage your emotions properly and know and expect and understand the risk that when you click buy or sell in a trade that you already come back and try to test them. And I kind of learned in the street way of trading by going out and getting beat up a little bit. So anyway, just kind of wanted to explain that a little bit better, the momentum. So this is not a bad thing. We are coming right here and starting to base right at this trend line and the top of this green kind of consolidation buy-ish zone. And again, this is our super battle box up here at the top. Y'all know about it. It's been there. I'm gonna extend it a little bit. It's not going nowhere until we break it, I'll tell you that. Or if we sell off a lot. I'll tell you that on the other side. Hopefully that's not the case. Yeah, if we start breaking like down in here, yeah, then I'll erase that box, because it won't matter for a little while. But someday it will again. Okay, I don't want to bust your balls or heart too hard. All right, let's look at some internals here on the daily. All right, so on this big sell-off right here, it is very worthy to note that in the last 3 sell-offs, let's see if we can draw. We can slightly. So let's do that. Maybe if I can. It doesn't look like it's letting me, though. Oh, just kidding. It won't let me do it. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Maybe I can just draw regular? No. No drawing on this chart. Or on this indicator. Alright, well, never mind. But y'all can kind of see it right here where I'm looking. It's kind of like coming across this way, right? And that's since April. And so this is, or I'm sorry, mid-May. So we're having less volatility, even though these sell-offs have been way more brutal price-wise. And that's why I really like this indicator, because it's showing like the momentum, sort of, if that makes sense. The strength, really, of that maybe undertow. I don't know if it's a great analogy. I'm not like a surfer or anything, but sometimes it looks really calm on the surface or like measurable, and you're like, oh, okay, I could do that. And then underneath, it's just like, pow, pow. Messes you up. All right, and we are getting this low volume, as we've talked about in other videos. This is the volume for the last couple years or so. We are lower here, and if you compare it to price, when we've been dumping off, we had good participation in this upside volume, nice buy volume, more than we've seen in a while, pretty much since last March, last spring. And then it's, ever since this major candle, we've had pretty much less than average volume. Okay. So that doesn't mean that it can't keep selling off, by the way. But whenever volume comes in with a little bit of price action, and in this case where we are now, if volume comes in with price action below, let's say 6,800 right here. If it does that, and this candle, excuse me, need to learn how to use that mute button really fast. It's like right in front of me here on the mic, but you know, I'm still learning. Stop giving me so much shit, man. Alright, so, oh, also, real quick before I forget to say it, we got on a sequential, we're on the 9, if y'all like that sequential stuff. I know a lot of people like it. It is interesting. It does add a certain dynamic and works sometimes, of course, like a lot of things. But it is best, like most things, when they line up with other points. Like this one, the top of this box, right? And a 9 printed, and it closed there. And then a 1 started, but they were all positive sideways ones, kind of neutral in the sequential, where it's just not really getting any momentum. And then it finally started like a serious 1, 2, 3. And so they've counted. And we are about to make the I guess the 9th one would be tomorrow. Not at the end of tomorrow, actually the end of Wednesday. But it's not just the 9th, it's kind of in the latter ones. It gets a little bit deeper than just, oh, it's 9, or look for aggressives or sequentials, 13s and 9s and stuff like that. Like it's a little bit more complex than that, but just like with any kind of TA, you can pick and choose how far you want to go into all of it. There's so many different combinations of things. It's like billions and billions of combinations of indicators and spreads and options. I mean, it's probably trillions now because of the amount of derivatives. It's probably some ungodly number. But anyway, before I digress too much, oh my gosh, I have got some bad internet connection. I just noticed that. That is not good. I hope that hasn't affected the stream too much, but I'm already kind of too far in it anyway. So we're going to just finish it out. Maybe I'll try to go a little faster on this one, since I did just notice that. All right. So we are basing here. This looks pretty good for price action. Again, that 618 measured move from here is about the top of this box here, and I'm saying from this area, from these local lows to this local high, which is about that 5,800 level to the 8,500 level-ish. So that's about smack dab where we are. Price is trying to figure out what it wants to do here. As you can see on the DMI, it is back kind of in the neutral zone. Both of them are. The bears lost a little bit of momentum the last couple days. And what's interesting about these two daily candles, and then we'll zoom in, is that, and also let me just go ahead and turn off the sequential we had a little doji here, this candle. And then the next day we had like a little spinning top. It's like, and Bitcoin likes to do that. You can see it over here. Does kind of the same thing, hammers, dojis. Which that, you know, that just means prices it's hard to move price around here. There's a lot of action and battling going, which is not a bad thing for either side. So that's good. We're in a little battle zone here. Let's see what happens. We'll zoom in, see if we can get any hidden divergences, possibly. No? Ever so slightly. Oh, it's close though. It's so damn close. Let's see on the RSI. Yeah, on the RSI, actually, it's showing it more so than the DMI, which doesn't happen often, but you clearly have, I mean, ever so slightly. You're talking like barely 1 full point on the 1 to 100 scale of RSI. So, you know, it's tiny, but it's there. And, you know, only having 1 up slight difference, but having, you know, 4 or 5% moves down in price, that does mean something for sure. So, and you can see, though, maybe the bears are still kind of strong, but the bulls are showing slight divergence now. They did not at first when the RSI started doing it, but after this kind of first big sell, or this recent last sell-off, it has been showing that. So, we'll see what happens. Like I said, really just wait for price here, guys. Sometimes it's long-winded. I'm trying to make it to where it's just like, all right, you know, this is kind of where we're at. Boom, bam. I want to get like through a bunch of them fast. I'm working on it. So we have a little pop kind of going on. It's trying to, you know, go to 50,000 tonight probably. I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. So don't quote me on it. It's just like totally my gut feeling, you know. All right, let's go to Ethereum. It's probably that same BS chart. Oh my gosh, it is. Look at that. Gosh, isn't it really exciting to look at? I know it is. You don't even have to answer. I just know it is. But to be for real, we do have some decent, they're all pretty much higher lows on this whole time frame. These are about even, but I mean, they're so damn close. It's like 0.1. I'm not going to really count that. So we pretty much have got higher lows have been happening on the RSI since April. And, you know, that puts us all the way back to here, even though all of that's happening and we're getting a lot of this. It's really struggling. It's been in the same boat. I'm not really sure what else to say about Ethereum and Litecoin at the moment. That like 350's kind of been our target on the downside for your ultimate downside. And maybe about 400, there's going to just be some good solid support there. It's a whole psychological number. Markets are silly like that. But you have had the sellers, just like RSI was kind of showing. It's actually more evident right here. If you look on the bottom, the DMI, the bears have been getting weaker at every sell-off attempt since this main sell-off attempt. So that is actually very telling of the bears getting pretty exhausted. They're going to need some pretty good fuel to get past this level after kind of noticing that a little bit more. So that's a good sign. So let's go to the 4 hour. Kind of the same thing. I think the daily right now is what needs to be focused on Ethereum because it's just been so tight in a range. I mean, you're talking like a $50, like a 10-15% range. So, and it's right banging on support this whole time. So it's not really that exciting. You just need to kind of keep an eye on it. And Litecoin is in the same boat, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all are watching these, y'all already know that. But we're going to look at it just to show you. Look at it, almost looks like I didn't even change the chart. Look, just to show you again. Watch this. Boom. Oh my gosh, it's almost the same except this dip is lower right here. But anyway. Yeah, see, it's way higher. This dip, that other dip for Ethereum was like other lows. But here, same kind of boat though. It doesn't need this other low. You have this previous run up, which was the sell-off point, came back, tested it, consolidated over it for a little bit, blew out. So there's going to be a lot of business done in here. It's already been proven here pretty much the last month and a half. Same story, guys, with Ethereum and Litecoin. Let's see, since April, it does not have the same divergence as strong as divergence. It has slight divergence, but not as long. Ethereum has had divergence since April, so that's pretty damn interesting to me. I never really was looking at it that way because it was just getting so boring. And it's funny, I even had the line drawn on there, but that's how charting is, guys. Y'all can look at this stuff all the time, and you see different things many different times. But that's okay. It's not a bad thing. You just need to make sure, I think, follow the KISS method when you trade. Keep it simple, right? You're like, well, you have all these indicators on your chart, bro. Look at all these lines. And you got like 114. I mean, there's like so many, you know? Well, I do have a few, but it's only 1, 2, 3. And moving averages, I kind of like clump into one, but let's just, for sake of the argument, you want to add them up as each different ones. So what is that? 1, 2, that's 7. Do trend lines count? If they do, let's say 8. Now does each trend line count? Come on, guys. Come on. That's too much now. Alright, so same kind of story with that. Let's go to the rips. The Ripple. Oh man, it broke the line. It's been broken. It broke it a little bit more today. We are at critical levels. Careful. The siren is going off here. Okay, there's some lights. I wish I had a little siren noise right now. I don't. But I'd play it right now if I did. So we've talked about it. Same story, ladies and gentlemen. Needs to kind of hold upper 30s. If you have a higher risk appetite, maybe down to about 36. That's kind of what I'm playing. I actually will not like it at all, though. It'll really make me nervous in my panties if we close a daily below 40 cents. So again, we can look at this on lower time frames, but it's not really going to do us anything at this point. All right, let's go to, because we skipped one thing, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's go to the total front page here of all the coins and see some of the movers. Bam, of course, kind of the same ones. Usually is the same 20. They kind of just barely interchange. Oh, V-Chain fell out of the 20. Top 20. Shocking, right? So EOS, ETC has been showing some awesome relative strength. ETC has just been kind of killing it. I guess Coinbase has been pumping them. They better charge Coinbase for that. Oh my god. Decred. Oh, I haven't seen that one in a while. That one looks like it's been showing some decent strength. Let's go check it out real quick. As just a little shit coin we can look at before the night's over. Alright. Oh, look at that. That's kind of one of those patterns where it's like, oh, it's about to just hold this and go bananas for a couple days. Or it's about to, like, not hold it at all and go bananas the other way. And that's what's fun about crypto, right? Opportunity is there, but damn it, when you are wrong, like if you get long right here, and let's just say you do, and it's at 0.007 Bitcoin on Decred, and your stop is, let's just say 0.006, which is about right here. Alright, that's funny, I just kind of made that up, but that actually lines up with this here. So if that's your stop and it goes down to that level, let's say you're looking for that to happen within the next month, so take this box out to like 30 days, and if that's about a 17% risk, if it doesn't bounce and do that within that certain time frame, you don't get that move and it breaks, especially if it breaks below here. You can even have like an initial stop like here, and then this is your ultimate stop, right? And especially if it breaks below there, it's done. You're wrong. Get out of the trade. That's it. It's that simple. Don't even think about it. Just close it, click the buttons, do it, move on, go do something else. Maybe even like close the trade out, and you're gonna have all these emotions flying around, and then literally just walk away from your computer for 10 minutes. Just go make a sandwich or grind up a mojete and make some salsa. I don't know, make a smoothie, go work out. Just do something to get your mind off of it really quick. Even if it's just for like 5-10 minutes, it's a huge help in like refreshing and resetting your mind. It's something that I do sometimes, but I do not do it consistently. That's the hardest part of trading, is to keep doing it. You will find you'll go on streaks if you can continue to do this and put the effort into it and the time and money. And you will go on streaks. If you play poker out there, you kind of know that's how it is. Or maybe if you even just gamble, right? You go to the casino and you just go one night and you're just like, man, shit, $100, $200, $300. I just keep hitting all this stuff. Sometimes that happens, but you cannot bet on that. That's not like a winning strategy over time. So don't do that. If you're out, it's wrong. Boom. And you can even set these cool things up in TradingView. If you go to the, long position or short position right here, it's on the second from the bottom. And you go and click that, and you just drag over here, and it's going to plot this little box. And you can set up like default parameters for it. And let's say we just did it about the same position as we just had. Bring it up to about 60, and you open it about here, right? So there you go. And let's say we're just targeting to the tops of this. I'm just making this up right now, okay? Just for the example's sake. So we put it there, and then that's it. And then you go for time too, so you know how long you need to wait. Let's say this is perfect time, the end of September. Let's just say that. If you want it, whatever, you can drag it shorter. Maybe you only want to go, or I'm sorry, the end of October. Let's move it and say we want it to move by the end of September. So you just keep this box up. And when price gets into it, I'll just move it to show you. When price gets into it, when you first set these, oh, it actually won't do it until, I guess the days go by after you make it. Well, that's pretty cool. Nice trading view. So you can't just go back here and look, I made this trade and made that much money. Okay, that's pretty sweet. I did not know that because I use these, but I just never tried to drag it over. So that's a new thing. If you didn't know, now you know. Now I know. Maybe that can be a segment. If you didn't know, now I know too. All right. So as time goes by, when you have this, it'll turn a different shade of green or a little bit different shade of red to show kind of how far you are inside of your zone, whether that's the profit or the loss zone. And of course, the short one is the exact same. You just do it the other way, guys. Okay. Boom, boom. Right. There you go. So it's a pretty cool little feature, and you know, you can use it to really help manage your risk and have a visual. If you just look in here and it gets to the top of here, take it off. Don't even think about it, because your mind was the most fresh and unbiased before you entered the trade. It's something called confirmation bias. And so if you treat it with kind of not zero emotion, but limited emotion and controlled emotion, you put it on, you made your assessment, here's your risk and your reward. That's what you want. Because you can't, it's unrealistic to be like, I'm going to buy something and it's going to go up for 20 years or 10 years or a year straight, right? You need to have some type of target. Even if it does double or triple in 1 year, when you open it, you'll be like, oh, this looks like probably 50%. Okay, fine, 50%. So if it gets there, then take it off and don't even think about it. Because you should be constantly looking for opportunities anyway, regardless of that prior trade. That's its own little kind of entity and thing going on. It's either going to work or it's not going to work. It has nothing to do with, you know, other trades. Now, can you have it something to do? Yeah, and I'm not going to go into that. I'm talking in the most basic form. Of course, you can go and hedge something or sell options around it or do collars and things, and I know that's probably like way too much, but we can talk about those things later. But for the basic construct of like trading and just managing, think of it in simple terms, right? You can add all those tools to your box later, grasping first trying to grasp the psychological part of trading, because I guarantee you that is the most important part of trading. I do believe it is like 90+%. You know, a lot of the good traders in some books will even talk about how it's like 99%, and they might not be wrong. The more I've traded, the more that seems to be the case. Because most of the times when you make mistakes, they're off of emotions. Remember that. They're not off like you didn't make a... Like your assessment or assumption or idea was probably correct, but you let your emotions shake you out of a trade too early, or took profits off too early, or move your stop up because price dropped and you got kind of scared, and then it hits the stop and then goes right in the direction that you want. Like, you shouldn't be doing that and over or hyper managing your risk. Okay, you should already know that when you open the trade. It's one of the only things you can control. Remember that. Your order entry and your risk and the profit. You can't control any other factor. Nothing. So kind of like it doesn't even matter. Like, don't even think about it. You don't think about getting hit in your car every time you drive to work, right? That would make you crazy. But so don't think about it. It's just easier to do in markets. There's no rules or anything. Like, no one's going to be like, oh, you can't buy that Facebook stock today because it's going to crash tomorrow 20%. Plus, no one would know that. But there's no rule stopping you from doing that either. So you can do it. There's laws stopping you from speeding, right? Or trying to prevent you from doing it. Can you still do it? Yeah, but there's more ramifications. There's zero ramifications for you going all in on Facebook with you have 10 grand in your life savings and then you lose 20% of it. Let's say you even leverage it up and buy a bunch of call options and then it goes down and you lose all of it, right? That happens all the time. So just think about that for a little bit. All right, let's just go ahead and wrap that up, or wrap this up with some Bitcoin, as we like to do right before we leave and take off. So again, it's about the same area. This is kind of coming to fruition. We broke that first level we talked about. If it got out of this box, it's done. On a daily, it clearly did it. Then we even got below the longer term moving average on the same bar. It was bearish engulfing, which means it passed all of this previous price action and negated pretty much all of it. It almost went to the whole candle too, that whole one. Let's just call it that it did. It was like 20 bucks. That's nothing. That doesn't matter. Not in the Bitcoin. So we keep selling off here. It's on the 9th candle. Will be tomorrow. We're right here. We broke that with the swiftness. I think that was the one that caught a little bit of everybody on surprise. I think everybody thought that this was going to hold. I certainly put a little bit more support there than it blowing through, but that is like, after thinking about it and digesting it after the next couple days, like, that actually is a good thing to happen, because it punched past where everybody thought it could go, and now we're like teetering on the edge, right? You got to think about how the markets are operating and how price is operating and how people are thinking, because that's really what this is showing. And that's what price is what everybody's thinking at any given time. The market's constantly giving you information. Don't forget to adjust to it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is Z-Rex with No Noise Research signing off on this lovely late day, August 6th / rolled into the 7th after producing and everything of 2018. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.